Danny Flexon here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by super lightweight champion of the world, Mary McGee. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. I think you charmed and scared Eddie Hearn up there on the stage. But yeah, unification fight, huge this weekend. I think because we're in the UK, there's a lot of focus on Chantelle, of course. But it's just as big a fight for you as it is for her. How long have you been preparing for this, and what have you been focusing on in camp?
Well, I've been preparing for a fight since May. I ended up getting a small injury that kind of set me out for like a couple weeks. But then they was like, well, what did you think about fighting Chantelle next? And they brought the offer to me in June. So I sat and I talked to my coach, and he was like, yeah, I can get you ready in the gym without a fight. I'm like, really? So I knew since June that it was possible I'd be fighting her, so I had started training. But then when in July came around and I started hearing more talk about it, I really tuned in onto her and was like, this is the fight that I'm probably going to get. So I started doing more strength training, more conditioning to get my body prepared so I could be ready for this night.
And how long have you been in the UK, obviously adjusting to the time difference and so on?
I got here Sunday night.
And how are you feeling so far?
I feel fine. I'm up with you. And you guys are about 6 hours ahead of me. So, I mean, I'm not tired right now or anything. I'm adjusted pretty good.
And what will you do for the rest of fight week now? Obviously tapering off, no hard training, but what are the plans?
Just sharpening up with my coach, working on a few details that we worked on in the gym, making sure I stay on weight for tomorrow's weigh-in. That's basically it.
When you were first offered the Chantelle fight, or it was first talked about, did you know it was going to be part of this unification tournament across the division?
At first, when I first would listen to Chantelle, she would say she wanted to fight one of the champions, and I respected that because it's like I wanted to fight one of the champions too. And it was like for her to be like, yeah, I just wish I could fight one of the champions. And I was obliged, like, yeah, I'll do it, because I'm not, as Savage said up there, I'm not afraid of a loss. I don't believe I'm going to lose, but I've already crossed that bridge. I'm 27-3. So for me, I like the challenges. I want to do great things before I leave this sport.
You've arguably come into the form of your career quite late on, as it turns out. What's been the key to that kind of resurgence? Is it experience or something else? You came into your form quite late in your career in terms of winning the world title and defending it. Previously, you've suffered some defeats against really good fighters, albeit, Holly Holm, Enrique Farias. What's been the change in form? Is it just growing into your role as a fighter? Is it experience? What's been the difference?
It had a lot to do with experience, but mental, and also having a son and knowing that this was a way for me to make a living for my son. And I was like, this is something that I'm good at. I've dedicated a lot of time to it, and now women boxing is growing. I deserve to be up there with the rest of those girls. So it was mostly that made me buckle down and say, you need to train hard, and you could become a world champion, and it happened for me.
How old is your son?
6.
So how aware is he of not just what you do for a job, but what the level you're at?
Oh my God, he is so funny. He called me the other day and said, did you fight yet? I'm like, no. He like, what's going on? Is the girl scared or something? I'm like, no. But he goes to the gym with me every day, and so he knows how hard the training is and the sparring. So he's very aware.
Do you think it's something he might ultimately get into?
Possibly. He watches the other kids at the gym, so it's like when he sees them box, he wants to box, but sometimes he says, boxing's stupid, I want to wrestle. So, yeah.
Well, either way, I think he'll do well, I'm sure. How aware were you before this fight was first mentioned of Chantelle and her strengths and weaknesses?
I've been knowing about Chantelle the last 3 years, but I know she was a 135-pounder. I have a lot of respect for her power, and the way she boxed. That's why I trained so hard, because I didn't want to go out there and just get blown out by Chantelle, because I know she has a high work rate. So, I respect her as a fighter, but I came here to win.
Now, you were saying up there you expect her to go on the back foot and try and box a bit more. We're used to seeing her maybe a bit more aggressive, at least in the majority of her fights. Why do you feel that she's going to get on the back foot this time around?
Because she's smart and she knows who to be aggressive with. I have 15 knockouts. So by you knowing I have 15 knockouts, you're not going to just automatically jump on me. You're going to try to box me to feel my power. That's where the experience comes in at. When you're experienced, you understand that a person is not going to just jump on you. Those fighters she jumped on probably didn't have the power. She probably felt them out for a few rounds and realized, oh, I can outfight them, and that's what she did.
Now, you fought more experienced people, but where would a victory over Chantelle, especially being on away soil here in the UK, rank in terms of your career achievements?
It would be huge, because Chantelle is she's a popular fighter, she's a good fighter, and she's a real champion. So it would be huge to get a win over her.
And who do you expect to come out on top in the other, I guess we'd call it a semi-final in this tournament?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm pretty friendly with both of those girls, so I'm just with may the best woman win, and I'll prepare for whoever the winner is of that fight.
And what about longer term ambitions? Assuming you eventually become undisputed at 140, up in weight, down in weight, big names that you'd like to fight?
I'm considering going down in weight because Katie Taylor is willing to fight anybody, and she's the best. She's like the pinnacle of women boxing in a way in our weight division, and I know she'll fight me.
So become undisputed at 140, then go down and become undisputed at 135 as well?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Wow. All right, well, I wish you the very best of luck for Saturday, and really appreciate your time.